Data Pipeline Manager is a self-service model for onboarding log sources into BluSapphire. This is the DPM UI which any onboarding customer will now have access to. All the registered pipeline managers will be listed here along with device code, IP address, device memory, current load on the system, and other related information. To add a new pipeline manager, click on Add Device, and provide basic information such as device name and location. Access and secret keys will be provided by BluSapphire during the initial onboarding process. After generating the script, copy and execute it on the DPM host as a root user. Here we are using Rocky Linux version 9.4. Execute it as a root user. This will install all the required packages and DPM components. Installation process can take up to 10 to 15 minutes. Pipeline Manager will get auto-register with the DPM portal. The package is now successfully deployed, and the Pipeline Manager is automatically registered with the DPM portal. We also have the hardware information for the new deployment Pipeline Manager. Next step would be configuring the data pipeline for onboarding log sources. Clicking on the device code will take you to the data pipeline configuration page. The pipeline configuration page has 4 key sections. Sources: define where and how the system pulls or receives data. Users can choose from multiple sources based on their specific requirements. Pipelines: define how the data is processed and transformed, managing how Windows Event Logs or AWS logs are handled. Enrichments: enhance the data with additional information like GeoIP. Destinations: specify where the processed data is sent. Let's onboard the Windows log source. First, we'll set a unique input ID which is used internally. We'll name it Windows Logs. We'll stick with the default address and port for listening. Next, there's the Permit Origin option, which lets you restrict where the data can come from. The organization ID will automatically be filled in based on the logged-in user. We'll also use the default settings for the log schema and format. Next, let's add Pipeline Node and Enrichments Node for processing and enriching Windows events. And for destination, we'll configure BluSapphire SDL as our destination for this pipeline. First, we'll set a unique output ID which is used internally. We'll name it SDL. We'll stick with the default values for this destination. Add AWS region and authentication information. Choose the framing method as newline_delimited. Let's connect this pipeline configuration node source and save the configuration. Let's add few more sources and configure pipelines for onboarding AWS CloudTrail logs, AWS Web Application Firewall logs, Fortinet Firewall logs, and Azure Active Directory logs. Now that we've configured the pipelines to onboard all the required log sources, let's deploy them. Deployment can take 10 to 15 minutes. If the new configuration doesn't work, users can revert to a previous version. Our pipeline configuration is now deployed, and the Data Pipeline Manager is ready to receive data from the configured sources. Next, I'll reconfigure Fortinet Firewall, WinLogBeat, and FileBeat to send data to the new Pipeline Manager's IP address. Now, let's switch to BluSapphire to investigate and filter the data coming from the newly deployed sensor. As you can see, we're receiving processed logs through the Data Pipeline Manager sensor, Windows security and Sysmon events, AWS CloudTrail, AWS Web Application Firewall logs, Fortinet Firewall logs.